Welcome back, you guys. So yeah, we got another overcut electrical box. This one is not as bad and blown out as the other one, but this one is a lot more common. And I'm going to show you guys a much more common and kind of easier way to fix this one instead of doing all those coats of Kwikset. It's still essentially the same patch, but we're just going to be doing it with regular air drying muds and letting it dry overnight. So all we're going to need is some taping or all-purpose mud, which I have right here. Good old air drying stuff, a 4 or a 6-inch knife, and some good old-fashioned paper tape. Okay, the first step here is let's just fill this up with a little bit of mud to make sure that it actually has the mud in there that it needs. So what I've done, be careful in here, make sure you don't have any live wires or anything, but I've made sure that the mud is actually making contact with the outside edge of the plastic box and to there. It's nice and full. Next, we're gonna take a piece of paper tape, about 1 inch on either side of this box. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pre-butter this up. So I'm just putting about 1/8 of an inch of mud on here. And it should be fairly wet. It doesn't have to be too wet. The wetter it is, the more it'll shrink. So, I mean, you can also do this first step with Kwikset, or at least the first pre-fill with Kwikset, and it would do a better job, but hey, we're just working with what we have here, which is regular air drying mud. So I put it over here, and I've made sure that it goes far enough to the edge of this box. We're just gonna gently wipe this tape out. It slid around a little, but no big deal. Making sure that we've left some mud under the tape, so that it actually glues it down. So there's that. Clean up the wall. And now I'm gonna pull a little bit of this stuff out just to keep it tidy. And we're gonna leave this. This, for air drying mud, is gonna take, honestly, 2 or 3 days. So if we wanted to, be heroes and get this done in a day or two, we would use Kwikset, especially for that first pre-fill. Then it would dry overnight, but I've got this whole taping job here. There was some big fills. It needs about 2 or 3 days to dry, so I'm gonna come back in a bit and we're gonna coat this, and I'll show you guys how to make it look like it was never there. Okay, this has had a couple days to dry. Even though it's, air drying mud, it's super dry. This is nice and strong now. So the thing that a lot of people have a hard time with here is when it comes time to coating it, they think that all they have to do is hide the tape. So they'll just do something kind of like this, and like feather it out and call it done. But here's the thing. If you actually want your plate to sit flat, because what tends to happen is when people only hide the tape, you end up with a little gap at the bottom and top of your plate. So if you actually want this repair to look proper, I'm telling you, you gotta go all the way around. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it's better than not going all the way around and having a problem that you have to fix when it's all finished painted. This needs a little more right there. So as you can see, I coated the whole thing like it was just sort of one solid patch. So that's the first coat. Ideally, it should get a second coat. All right, you guys, this has had overnight to dry. I definitely would recommend sanding between coats. You don't have to have this, but it helps. A sanding sponge will do just fine. Uh-oh. Okay, just needs another quick coat. Gotta love the final coat, goes on so nice and easy. I always have my mud mixed considerably thinner for the final coat. And feather those edges. And just a few passes to finish it off. Oh, tape showing a little bit down there. Put a bit more mud over top. That's just because I sanded a bit too much with my big fancy sander. So now all this is gonna need is a quick sand with a sponge sander, paint it up, it's all fixed. So that's how you can get the job done with regular air drying muds on a more realistic overcut electrical box scenario, unlike the one that most of you guys have seen that was like completely annihilated by somebody. This is how you fix a more basic, simple one with more basic, simple products right off the shelf instead of getting all the quick sets. Anyways, thanks for watching Vancouver Carpenter. Hope you got something out of this video and hope your project's going well. Till the next one.